Hi, Connect Groups, and welcome back. We'll keep it short and sweet. We're into the March month. Spring is already here. We're excited and happy about the annual meeting and getting a chance to give testimony and report on what God is up to in our church. We read last Sunday from John chapter 15, Jesus being the vine, and he's given us in that text so much to consider. It's one of my favorite passages, really John 13, 14, 15 lumped together. I found myself going back to over and over again. So take a moment and just share around your group, what are some of those areas of the Bible that you go back to over and over again? Favorite passage, favorite psalm, even if it's just one scripture itself, but share that, encourage one another. And then as you do, secondly, take a moment and think back through last week's sermon. If you want to refresh yourself by reading John 15, you can read verses 1 through, let's say 17, and discuss with one another what's one area that stuck out to you from the scripture, something that you find poignant, something that you find helpful, or maybe it's something that you say, I'd like to know more about how that works. Then thirdly, I'd like you to consider the aspect of the vine itself, that Jesus is saying to us that he's the vine, we're the branches, and if we remain in him or abide in him, we can bear fruit. And the basic parameters of remaining in Christ are relational, actually talking to him, listening to him, let's call that prayer, reading the Bible and meditating on the Bible. Let's call that also being fed from this vine, receiving the nutrients and the literal bread of life from Jesus himself. And of course, this idea of bearing fruit is part of our worship experience. It's the service that we do through all that the Spirit is producing in our life. It's the fruit that we bear, the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, and so on, that gets evidenced by other people. And they say, wow, there's something different about you. And we say, well, it's not me, it's Christ at work in me. So as you think about that concept, Jesus the vine, we're the branches, I want you to do a little bit of research, or feel welcome to. Look at Gallup or look at Barna.com. And there's some things that are trending right now in statistics that are kind of troubling. So depending on which poll or which research you're looking at, you're going to see something like 2/3 or maybe up to 80% of Americans consider themselves a Christian. And I'm reading now right from Barna.com and their article, What Do Americans Really Think About the Bible? And here one of the phrases says that the percentage of adults who believe the Bible contains everything a person needs to live a meaningful life, let's consider that a fruitful life, that percentage has declined from 75% to 66% in the last 2 years. So that's to say something's going on in our current trajectory. While people are saying they're Christians and 61% actually say they want to read the Bible more, there's something of the trust and value in the Scripture itself that's declining. Does the Scripture have everything we need? Are the nutrients there for us to live a meaningful life? And so the stats are saying that less people are believing that, less are inclined to believe the Bible. It really is the source of meaningful life. Love for you to discuss that, talk about why you think that is. Maybe you can think about our church or our friends or people you know and develop a few prayer points and say, Lord, help us. Help us teach differently, help us inform people differently, help us manifest fruit so people will see the evidence. Lord, help us to communicate with our words and our deeds in such a way that people will want to hunger for this great word, which ultimately is Christ himself. He came as the living word. He's the Word incarnate, according to John chapter 1. So when we talk about reading the Word, it's not a cold, stale Bible study, but it's an interaction with the living Jesus, who's the vine, and he begins to feed us so that our branches can bear fruit. So summing it up, we're talking about our favorite Bible passages. If there's something, secondly, that stuck out to you from John 15, and then thirdly, what is it about the vine and branches and being fed from the vine that is currently up against this word in our society? People are saying, I don't know if the Bible is going to give me what I need for a meaningful life. My confidence in that is dimming in America. And we are part of God's solution. And I'm interested to hear back. So Connect Group leaders, would you send me an email with some of the thoughts that your group may have produced so that together as a whole body we can pray and consider these things together. Have a great and enjoyable and prayerful and loving time together. God bless.